Now, I can't be the only one that has a shed load of leftovers and spares all in their garage. What are you going to do with them? So you, as an electrician, no doubt are exactly the same as me. When you go to a property and you're renovating that property, there's all sorts of trades in there. There's chippies, plumbers, plasterers, all of us. What's the first thing they say? How long's the electric going to be off for? And you want to rip everything out, especially if you're starting from scratch. You want to rip it all out so you can use the holes for the joists, because it makes it easier for you to sort of rewire the property. And you don't want to leave live cables laying around the house. You want to start fresh, start from scratch. That is the best way. So in this video, it's going to be a solution to stop all them tradesmen going, "Oi, Sparky, how long's the electric going to be off?" So let's get going. So this is the plan. What I'm going to do, I've got an old bit of board from the garage. I've got crap laying everywhere. And now I'm going to put the board on here. So this is going to be the temporary board. This is one that I've ripped out of a property that I thought, right, I'll save because I knew this job was coming up. We're going to have a USB socket. People want to charge their phone on site and stuff like that. That should be fine. We'll have another. These are only decorative because they're spares from the jobs that I've had left over, or they've sat around the van for ages. So I might as well make use of them. So this is the plan. And I'm also going to have a light switch on it. So let's make this temporary board ready for on site. And I reckon this would be a fun job to do, not fun maybe, but a good bit of practice for maybe an apprentice or someone training. Make up a temporary board for when you're doing jobs in people's houses, because they're always going to come in handy. I'll show you exactly how it's going to be used and how handy it will come in with the job down the road, because my last one's on one job, so we've got to make another one for this job. So we can just rip it all out, because it just makes things 10 times easier. What we're going to do, look at all them, they're all old, but they work. So, apart from, oh, that one does work. Yeah, so the RCDs work as well. RCD even, look, it's only got one. So from an old board, so we'll RCD protect half of them. We'll put one in there that's not RCD protected, because you get people with mixers and electric mixers on site that sometimes trip the RCD all the time. So it would be nice to put a 32 amp socket, non-RCD protected. So that is what I'm going to do to make up this board. Firstly, what I'm going to do, I've got a bit of old plaster board here, which should be okay, which I'm going to use for the front of the board, so it'll be easier to fit all my switches and sockets. The plan is to put these two together to create a void in the middle where I can run cables and obviously feed my sockets and the switches, so there's no cables on there that are going to get sort of damaged. As you can tell, my skills as a plasterer ain't that great, but all I need to do is just get a temporary board. It's going to get smashed around on site. So the plan is this. It's going to be on the back. Look, it's a bit dirty, but it'll do. So these want two stands basically down here to be able to stand up where the board, where the head is basically. It needs to stand into a property. So something like this would be good. So this is an old bit of wood as well. Let's take this off. So this is where I'm just using just some bits of wood that I found around the garage, just to make a stand. So basically you can stand in any place and to be able to get bashed around really. I didn't want to go out and buy a load of kit to be able to stick on site, because you know what builders and plasterers are like, they get covered. So it's just making use of some of the scrap that I have basically, rather than putting it in the bin. Even though this is temporary, yeah, it can be used a few times. So if it's good after one job, then you can use it on plenty of other jobs as well. Because if it doesn't get completely wrecked, I have had a few boards where they plug it in and they plugged a few heaters in and it burnt the sockets out. So it'll be easy enough to replace the sockets from somewhere, because no doubt your van's full of sockets. And all we normally do is throw them in the bin, so it can come in handy. To be honest with you, it clears a lot of the crap out your garage that you can use. And these old boards here, I put a few screws in there to hold it in place, because these legs, yep, they're going to be standing up and you get kicked around a little bit. We'll have our board in there, and to be honest with you, we can come out the bottom for everything on this. So that'll fit on there perfectly. So we'll put that in there nice and neat. So let's mark out on here. There we go, that way, that way, that way. That's going to go on like that. Because we want the plasterboard, what I've got, to fit directly over. And then, because we're going to have the bottom of the sockets spot on. One, two, and three. I want to get them fixed in nice and tight because, you know, on site they get smashed around. So let's do this. This is where they're going to go. Notice I haven't measured them out. It doesn't necessarily matter. Because I've got some small screws which I've got here. We'll stick them on. We can fix these back now. There we go, we've got 3 sockets in there. What I've also got is we're going to have a light switch, because I'm going to stick a light in this as well. Just so we know where it is, basically. So we'll have the light switch over there and the socket on there. So that should be fine. We can cut that light switch out later on, which is fine. And then we'll put that in there. Oh, let's put that up that way. Where is it? Again, put all the earths at the top of the box. No reason, just to make it look neat. There we go. So then now I want to get this bit of plasterboard that I've got and make sure this fits. Get rid of that, stuck on there. Because this, let's get the nice edge at the top. That, and then the board. We know that that is that. And that. So what we want is to get it nice and level in there. So that's going to be like that. Bit of a gap at the side to get that. There you go. Now to get your multi-tool, cut her out. What we're also going to do is come in, probably should have done this earlier. So let's get the Sharpie and do a hole there. We are short. So that's that. Been a stupid thing, went straight through. tell you, whatever job you do as an electrician, you got to stop for a cuppa every now and again. Let's crack on. Alright then, first, let's do these. But something else I have found among my kit is one of these MK sockets where the terminals are different. They're like spring-loaded terminals. So I'm going to fit this to this board to give it a go and see how it acts under load. And for the light, I'm just going to connect it up inside sort of the cavity in respect with Wagos. And now moving on to the light switch. I'm going to stick the light switch right next to the light so we can turn it on, and then it shows that the power's on as well, so you get idiots on site. If a light's on, then you know there's power. So this is my plan here. So if anyone phones me up and say, oh Ben, the power's gone off, I say turn that light on, and if that light comes on, then you've got power in your board. You've probably burnt the socket out or tripped the RCD. Now to stick the MCBs in, which we're going to use. So there's a few 16s, obviously a 6 in there for the lighting circuit, and I'm just going to fill it all up, so if they do blow any fuses up or MCBs, then at least I've got some spares in there. One beat over here, 32, and then 6. These in there for another day. And now is what's left to do is to terminate these 3 2.5 cables and one 1.5 into the board for the 3 sockets and the lights. I'm going to do each socket on its own individual
16 amp MCB, because then if anything happens to one, they've always got another circuit. You never know, someone might overload it with the mixer. But I'm going to put one on a non-RCD protected circuit, because you do get Billy Bodger builders sometimes or something like that with some dodgy kit that will keep tripping RCDs. So if it's on an MCB, then they're going to still be able to use their mixer. So you can see how this would be good practice for maybe an apprentice or an electrician in training, because you can just try it out and make at the board. You can make mistakes. It doesn't necessarily matter, because this is just a temporary supply. But it would be a good idea to torque up those MCBs as well. Make sure they're at the right tightness, and you get to use your torque setting screwdriver. So make sure you torque them up to around 2 Newton meters. Now I've just flipped it over, and I want to put these chock blocks in there, because this is where the tails kit will connect onto to give the live the neutral.
Now all you've got to do is stick your live neutral and earth into the board from the back and turn it all on. Doesn't matter after these. You got a bit of light, so you know what you're doing. There we go. This one. There we go. And this one. 6 sockets to keep the sight going. And then you always do something for the apprentice as well. You can plug your phone in and put it on charge. There we go. And stick it up there. Making a temporary board for a house renovation to make things a lot easier. This is something that your apprentice can do. This is something that maybe that someone's training with you can do. To get them set on making a temporary board, then all the work that they're putting in doing it, it sort of makes it worth your while, because what they're doing will come in handy. All the jobs you do, when you rip all the old boards out, or you rip all the old sockets out and stuff like that, make a temporary board. Make a temporary board for when you go to do a house rewire, you can use that, so you can still charge all your tools and your drills. And to be honest with you, I think if some lad come up to me and said, look, I've made this temporary board, do you want to buy it for 50 quid? I'll bung him 50 quid straight away.